And you can tell with like the combat as well that these guys, like, they played a lot of Destiny. They played a lot of Final Fantasy 14. As there's boss mechanics with bullet hell fucking zones and shit, and like actual first person mechanics where, hey, they have a shield, so you got to throw a thing here and grab this and do that like you would in Destiny. They're not super complex, but it's enough to be like, oh, this is kind of interesting. They're actually asking me to do something other than just shoot at the guy. Hey everyone, this is Adrian for my channel Random Drop. If you like our content, make sure to subscribe. We're more than halfway to 1,000 subscribers. From there, this channel's quality and content can grow quite significantly, and I hope that you stick around. But anyway, let's get back to the video. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel Random Drop. And today, I want to give my thoughts on Borderlands 4. Let's get into it. Now, if you've been around on this channel, you know that I've been playing through the whole Borderlands series all over again for my story recaps. And there were some ups and downs, definitely. I was having fun overall. I wouldn't continue doing it if I didn't. But each game had its own glaring problems, and I kind of just had to push through it. Borderlands 1 had issues of just being an old fucking game and the beginning of everything. So there are problems all over it, but I think tonally and simplicity wise, it's probably the one that flows the best, as it's just like a video game video game. Again, it doesn't age very well, but there are parts of the shooting and the progression and how the classes work that is still pretty fun. Borderlands 2 is a fun ride. Borderlands 2 has probably the best story in the series and the best villain, quite honestly. And this is probably where I'd say the classes peaked. As with every class, feels incredibly fun. Classes like Zero and ones added like the Necromancer. I played through the Necromancer through the whole thing, and sadly I found that none of the other games ever replicated how much fun and how much I had to consider my builds and weapons in any of the other games. Then we get to Presequel, which is like not interesting at all. It is just like on a barren moon with a bunch of mechanics that some do get carried over to Borderlands 4, like the slam mechanic. But man, Presequel is very much something like you probably play just to, like, I don't know, see a bit more of handsome Jack. Even then, it was a really rough playthrough. I do kind of like the lore and story and like, oh, this is why Jack is the way he is, or this is how. Really, the story is about how Hyperion arrived and how Jack came to power. It really doesn't delve into who Jack is at all. You probably have to play like Tales or something like that to get any more Jack story. Then Borderlands 3 is a really good playing game. It plays very well. It was such an improvement when I went from 2 to 3 and how just the game flowed. The vaulting, how the equipment and items, but there was still a bunch of annoying shit like not being able to tag multiple quests at once, and you're always constantly switching quests and just kind of roaming around. Then there's like the story and characters like Ava, and big huge problems like you standing around and watching these characters talk while you could be going and exploring and fighting enemies. There's a lot of moments where you're just standing there looking at an NPC go off for a while, and a lot of it's not even funny. There's some good comedy in Borderlands 3. I personally really like Balix and all of his shit because I like Ice-T. But for the most part, it's like, man, a lot of Borderlands 3 is forgettable. And even making that story recap video, I tried my best to be like, hey, let me gather all this junk and try to like make something coherent and good out of it. I feel like the story of Borderlands 3 could have been very good, but it's just like how it was told and too jokey, and just like the brother and sister streamer thing that like didn't really work. There could have been a really good game where the villains were sirens and probably dove into siren lore and all that, especially with that planet that we visit fucking once and then just leave, and then the whole Maya thing. Yeah, I could go on, but Borderlands 3 shot and played very well. The guns were good and all that. I personally still didn't like the classes. I thought all of them were boring and all the main characters were boring. So, hey, that's my history with Borderlands and my quick reviews of 1 through 3. Thankfully, Borderlands 4 so far is like pretty good. Now, obviously, there is the big elephant of the performance issues of the game. The game should run better, but it has been running fine enough. I have played video games where they perform like dog shit and feel like they don't want to be on the computer. I've been there before, and I've gotten that dice roll before, so I understand, hey, it might be working fine for me, but it's not working fine for you. I get that. Yeah, you should get a refund. Don't put money into this or whatever, right? Like, yeah, I understand why you would be upset. As I've played with some friends where like the game kept fucking crashing, and we've had multiple instances of crashes playing with Bryce as well, who's hosting the main game. So it's not perfect, but I have a pretty decent computer, so it's like powering through most of it, but the game should run better. Hey, that shit sucks. But unfortunately, I can't really comment too much on it because as like, for the most part, my experience on my end has been really positive. So I just really want to talk about Borderlands 4 and the changes they made coming from 3 and the lessons they've learned and how overall I feel about this experience. And the first thing I noticed when getting into Borderlands 4 was the classes. As initially I wasn't like vibing with the characters. There's a lot of customization, so you can kind of change their colors and how they look and all that, which is really good. But I never saw that character and was like, oh, I immediately want to be that. Kind of how like back when I was a kid, I played Borderlands 2 and I saw Zero and I was like, oh, my edgelord brain, yeah, I want to play Zero, right? None of the characters in Borderlands 4 were really popping for me, but over time as we played more through the game, I started vibing a bit more. I started to get Vex's deal more, and my friends are playing as Rafa, and he has a lot of really good lines. He's very much like that kind of Hispanic stereotype, jokey, handsome guy, which I really enjoy. I am Mexican, so I love when he's just throwing out palabras in Espanol, right, and just saying shit and just cursing in Spanish and like kind of saying puta madre and shit like that, because like even I do that sometimes. As someone who mainly speaks English, that shit just comes out of me because that's what my parents used to say and stuff like that. But over time, I've noticed that I'm enjoying the characters thematically, but also gameplay wise. As again, a couple hours in, I immediately saw what Vex could do and vibed with it, and I immediately started speculating like, okay, hey, I should use these weapons so it could reset these cooldowns and get more stacks of this. I didn't really ever get this feeling in any of the other Borderlands games with some of the classes, other than like the Necromancer, where with the Anarchy stacks, Necromancer, you wanted that gun that just dumped constantly and reloaded so you can get more stacks quickly. With Vex here, you want high damage, low shot weapons, so that you can get Eldritch Blasts faster. So you like run up, shotgun someone, and Eldritch Blast. And I've made this whole build around just doing that, and it's just like, now I have this homing Eldritch Blast that flies at people and explodes and leaves big pools. And the more I kill people, the longer I'm in that form. And it just, the loop is kind of like stacking on each other. And the thing is, in the other Borderlands games, the classes would get this way eventually. It's just the problem was it would take 30 levels. And as someone who was only playing the campaigns, I'd get to the very end, get the capstone talent, and I'd be done with the fucking game, because usually it would show up right before you fought the final boss. So it was always frustrating. The one that frustrated me the most was Borderlands 2, but that's because I rushed through the game. I wasn't doing side quests because I wanted to see the main story. Amara, I got her capstone in Borderlands 3 and it's like nothing. I imagine it gets better over time, but it's just like they weren't fun. And then Athena wasn't fun either because of how her shield mechanic worked. You think someone with the Captain America shield could throw it out more often, but no, it was on like this weird cooldown, and you had to take damage before you could throw it, and just, yeah, tons of issues. But with Borderlands 4, I can say like the classes are really fun, and the way they've itemized things and have all those item slots and modifiers is immediately interesting. And if you have the RPG brain, you can immediately start looking at the loot and it's like, oh, I should stack this, and this, and make some dumb shit. And I have seen some dumb shit made. I've seen ricocheting on ricocheting on ricocheting, throwing grenades and like blowing up a whole room in seconds to where it just breaks the game. Things like that. And it's awesome that you can do that. I love that you can do that if you want to. And again, we're only like 20 hours into the game. We haven't even beat the campaign. We are about like level 30 now, I'd say, as I feel like you get a lot more levels in this game compared to the others in the past. But yeah, so far, like the combat has been an incredible joy from second to second, and every time we get a talent point, it's immediately exciting. And now in 4, there's the transference to the open world, where now there's a bunch of points on the map, and basically you go to these points on the map to get SDU points so you can upgrade your ammo capacities like you used to in the past. Before it was like iridium and money in the other games. Well, now it's these little blue points that you get so you can upgrade those slots. I'm pretty close to like upgrading everything already, so I wonder what the extra points are gonna do. I really don't know, as I'm only really 2/3 of the way through the campaign, it seems. But the switch to the open world is cool. Now, I probably would have rather the open world was split into 3 different sections and with loading zones if it helped with performance or something, because maybe that's the route that could have gone down, as the other games, especially Borderlands 3, felt like it performed really well, at least recently. And I'm wondering if the switch to the open world and Unreal and all that is the reason people are having so many fucking performance issues. As there's even NPCs that you can't kill in this game, right? There's like actual roaming NPCs that aren't like part of the main quests, that are just like live in the world, and the world's a bit more filled out. They're very much trying to make this feel like an open RPG world. And it was so weird going to a camp in a Borderlands game and being like, oh, there's just like a bunch of friendly people out here in a random spot. That's odd. And things like that. It's just, they've completely changed the flow of how you explore. And thank God, I mean, yeah, now all the constant loading screens are gone, as with how separated the other games were, I never really got a grasp where I was on Pandora or any of the worlds. They might as well all be the same fucking planet. And now, hey, I have somewhat grasp, like, oh, hey, I'm in the south because I'm in the green area. Oh, I'm in the northwest because I'm in the sandy area, and so forth. Each biome feels wholly different, and they're not just split off on split offs on split offs anymore. Maybe they could have split it off a little bit, just to like help with performance, but who knows if that's even the issue. That's kind of just what I'm thinking out loud at the moment. And really the biggest upgrade for the open world is the fact that whenever you pick up side quests, their marker shows up on the map. If you don't remember or you haven't played recently, whenever you picked up side quests in the previous Borderlands game, it would only ever track the quest you're focused on. So even if you pulled out this big fucking map, it wouldn't show you if you're nearby another quest. Which in most open world games, when you pick up a bunch of quests, your mentality is like, oh hey, well, I'm nearby this, I might as well go do that instead of the quest I'm tracking. And it just makes the game flow a lot better, especially in this open world. The fact that I can look at the map and chart out a course, like, oh hey, the main quest is over there, let me do this, and this, and then, oh okay, we're there. Compared to before, where it's like, I don't know which quest you want to do, I don't know which one gives rewards, I don't know. All right, well, let's just do the main quest, I guess. Yeah, it was just like a real thing where it's like, I really hated how focused the quest system was in the previous games, and now how I like how free-flowing it is now. It just makes the experience way better, and it's just easy just to go in a flow state and run across this world, fighting enemies and getting some of these, frankly, like pretty interesting side quests done. And that leads me to the tone and the story impressions. Borderlands 1 is a goofy game. Borderlands 2 is an even goofier game, but still has like a lot of moments of like, oh, that's like kind of fucked up, and like really dark moments. It wasn't a bit too much. It was probably like almost to Borderlands 3, right? It was like just about to get there. But for the most part, there's lots of people who really enjoy Borderlands 2 and its tone. And then Borderlands 3 kind of just went way too fucking far, as these characters are trying to throw a joke out every 30 fucking seconds. And then Presequel is just like doesn't even fucking register, man. It's like not funny at all. It's just like thematically boring. Has like 1 or 2 good moments in the whole game, but yeah, just Presequel, whatever. Borderlands 4 is a bit more like 2, quite a bit more serious actually, in the main story quests. Where like the Borderlands 2 comes out in Borderlands 4 is all the side quests. The side quests are goofy as fuck for the most part. They actually like get really goofy, and that's kind of where like the fun is, and it breaks up the pacing, and some of them are really interesting, and you go on these like long actual interesting quests, treks. There's no more like, so there's still bounty boards like there were in the previous games, and they're just like kill quests, and I think those are repeatable, and maybe they refresh every day, I'm not sure, but they're generic kill quests. But now if you see a blue quests on the map, they're generally a chain with like a little story and things happening, and it shows you the rewards. Sometimes you're unlocking cosmetics and things like that. It's like, hey, I should do that one because it's going to unlock a new color for my Vault Hunter. I've actually quite enjoyed a lot of the side quests, and I've enjoyed the main quest too. As a main quest at the starts off pretty serious with like little jokes here and there. They'll like throw them in every now and then, but it's not overwhelming or trying too hard like it was before. It feels pretty earnest, and then like they slide in the goofiness every now and then in the main quests. There's a particular main quest in the sand area with the previous character that it's like really funny. It's concerning a giant worm and things like that, and a giant worm pet. And those characters are like really goofy, but they're also like talking about like, hey, there's refugees and we need to get food, and all this crazy ladies doing this crazy stuff here and taking in slaves and mind control. Again, it keeps that tone still, and it doesn't go too far, and like I'm overall interested. Now with the quests splitting up into 3 different parts, it's a bit more segmented, I would say. It's not like as focused, as like each zone feels like it's kind of telling its own story, with like the main villain like kind of having a hand in it but not really, compared to like something where with like 2 with Handsome Jack, where that motherfucker was on your case constantly, and there's like a big twist, right? Like with the 3-act structure like this, you know the big twist is going to come in after I finish the big 3 main quests in the game. There's probably going to be a big twist, and then we're going to go into the final act of the game, because it's so obviously telegraphed because of how the quest system is set up. But overall, hey, I'm enjoying the tone, and it makes it easy to play co-op, as like you're kind of getting bits in here of the story, and you're flowing through the world and the narrative at a brisk pace, compared to Borderlands 3, where there was like times where you just fucking sit there and stop and watch Reese make some terrible jokes for a while. Oh man, I can't believe what they did to Reese in that damn game. Holy crap. But anyways, yeah, so for the most part, it's like really good, and I'm really surprised, honestly, because after playing 1 through 3, I was like, hey, I like these games, and going back to them. But I did not think I was gonna like 4 as much as I do. I thought I was gonna have fun with it and be okay, but now I'm like, man, this is so much fun. I really want to see the end game. I really want to like dive in deeper and play a lot of this. I'm really excited for future DLCs that explore maybe past characters or different areas, right? As I'm having a lot of fun playing this. And you can tell with like the combat as well that these guys, like, they played a lot of Destiny, they played a lot of Final Fantasy 14, as there's boss mechanics with bullet hell fucking zones and shit, and like actual first person mechanics where, hey, they have a shield, so you got to throw a thing here and grab this and do that like you would in Destiny. They're not super complex, but it's enough to be like, oh, this is kind of interesting. They're actually asking me to do something other than just shoot at the guy. They're asking me to stand on certain spots or use my mobility to dodge certain attacks and things like that. It's really cool. I'm excited to see like, oh hey, I wonder if like maybe they do an expansion in the future and they like turn this up a notch where you get actual Destiny raid level tier fights in the game. But yeah, man, it's Borderlands 4 is really fun right now. It sucks that it performs like shit, and hopefully they fix it one day. This series has always been really good with sales and packages, and hopefully they continue that. I understand. Lately, AAA and games coming out, sometimes they come out and you're like, man, this isn't even worth the money, and they're trying to ask $80 nowadays. This very much, other than the performance, in terms of content and what's in the game, this very much feels like, oh, hey, they probably could have gotten away with 80. I'm glad that it's still 70, because I'm probably going to buy some fucking DLC down the line. But you can tell, like, when you compare the package and the content in Borderlands 4 to other games out there, like an Assassin's Creed Shadows or whatnot, right, where it's like, oh yeah, it has a ton of content, but it's all meaningless and boring, compared to something that makes me think and I'm having actual fun playing through it and all that, and has its own style. It's hard to really compare. Borderlands 4 right now is incredibly fun. Again, I'm like 25 to 30 hours into it at the moment. I honestly recommend Borderlands 4 as someone who's fallen off the series, as I really didn't jive with 3 at all. I played it and completely forgot about it back when it first came out, and I didn't play Tiny Tina's whatever the fuck either. I very much fell off after Borderlands 2, and we would go back to Borderlands 2 and play those DLCs for fun with friends. The series was never as good after that. Before, I think it's the one. I'm definitely enjoying it quite a bit. But let me know what you think down below. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next random drop video. Peace.